Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. Hope you're having a good day. This is part 2 of the distributive property video. We were looking at how to solve equations using the distributive property when you have parentheses in the equations like the ones you see here and the ones in the previous video. So this says solve each equation in 2 ways, and we're going to do that. So the first way we looked at, of course, is by expanding the expression to remove the parentheses. So, of course, we know this means 3 groups of r minus 2, and if we wanted to do this the shortcut way, we could do 3 multiplied by r and 3 multiplied by negative 2, and I would have 3r minus 6 equals 3. And then I would treat this as a typical 2-step equation. Add 6 to both sides. And you get 3r equals 9. And then you have multiply by 3. So to solve this, you're going to divide by 3. And you get 1r equals 3, or r equals 3. So that's one way to do that. The second way we learn, and this really only applies to these situations, is if you have 3r minus 2 equals 3, you can, since this is a multiply this whole thing by 3, you can divide by 3. You can only do it with these ones with parentheses, and you have to do it to both sides. And you get 1 group of r minus 2, because 3 divided by 3 is 1, equals 1. And the good thing about doing it like this is you get really small numbers afterwards. This is the same as saying r minus 2 equals 1. And then check it out. You got a simple one-step equation where you would add 2, and you get r equals 3. Exactly what you got over here. Now, I didn't do this in the previous one, but I'd like to show you the check that would go along with this. So, here is the check. Color coordinating everything. Typically, I always tell you not to write in red, but I'm just trying to do everything that's different in a different color. So to do the check, you write down the original equation. We've done this a million times before. 3 groups of r minus 2 equals 3. And you're going to replace the r with your answer. Well, our r was 3. 3 times 3 minus 2 equals 3. Bedmass tells us we do 3 minus 2 first. So this is going to be 3 times 1 equals 3. And 3 equals 3. Both sides of the equation are good. We're good to go. I didn't bother showing you a check for this one because we've done those checks a lot. Okay, let's look at another one. Negative 2x minus 3 equals 12. Well, we're going to solve this in 2 ways. The first way is to expand it out, right? This means negative 2 multiplied by x. Negative 2x. And it means negative 2 multiplied by negative 3. Negative 2 multiplied by negative 3, positive 6, equals 12. Got a 2-step equation now. Subtract 6 from both sides, and you're going to get negative 2x equals positive 6. Divide both sides by negative 2, and you get positive 1x equals negative 3, or x equals negative 3. Okay, that's one way to do it. Let's look at another way. So this only works in this particular situation. Negative 2 times x minus 3 equals 12. Since this is a multiply by negative 2, we can do the opposite, which is divide by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is positive 1 group of x minus 3 And 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6. And one group of x minus 3 is just the same as saying x minus 3 equals negative 6. Now you're left with a one-step equation. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. You do that to both sides, and you get x equals negative 6 and positive 3 makes negative 3. And you get the same answer either way. This way will always work in any situation. This way will not always work depending on what else is happening in the equation, but it will create way smaller numbers. Hey, let's do the check for this one as well. So the check, you write down the original equation. And we're going to substitute our answer in for x. So our answer for x was negative 3. So I'm going to do negative 2, replace x with negative 3, and that's minus 3, equals 12. Okay, I'm going to do the parentheses first. 3 negatives and 3 negatives is 6 negatives. So that's negative 2 times negative 6 equals positive 12. And that's right, correct? Negative 2 times negative 6, a negative times a negative is a positive. 12 equals 12, and we're all good. Look at that math we're doing, kids. We're doing some serious math right now. We're doing like Game of Thrones math. Some real hardcore math. Okay, last one. Let's do one last question, a little bit different. Okay. Negative 20 equals 5 times 3 plus p. Well, this time the parentheses are on the other side of the equal sign. Well, let's do it the first way where we expand it out. This will be negative 20 equals, okay, we're going to distribute the 5 to each term in the parentheses. 5 times 3 is 15, and 5 times positive p is plus 5p. And now this is a two-step equation like we've done in the past. I have multiply by 5, but I have a plus 15. I'm going to do the opposite of that, which is minus 15 and minus 15. Notice how I keep everything on the same side. The 20 and the negative 15 will stay on that side. All the work here will stay on this side of the equal sign. That's negative 35. This goes away, and I'm left with plus 5p, or just 5p. Now I have a multiply by 5p. I'm going to do the opposite of that, which is to divide by 5. Divide by 5. Negative 35 divided by 5 is negative 7. 5 divided by 5 is 1p, or negative 7 equals p. So that's one way you can do it. Perfectly fine, and it works every time. And it builds on what we already know, right? Now also be aware of this. So same equation, negative 20 equals 5 groups of 3 plus p. Now over here, because I have 5 multiplied by 3 groups of 3 plus p, I can do this by dividing by 5 and divide this side by 5. So negative 20 divided by 5 is negative 4 equals 5 divided by 5 is 1 group of 3 plus p. And that's the same as negative 4 equals 3 plus p. Now I'm left with a one-step equation. Beside the p, I have a plus 3. I'm going to subtract 3 and do it to both sides. And negative 4 and negative 3 make negative 7 equals, this goes away. I'm left with a plus p, or just p. And look at that. Sometimes math is sort of cool the way things work out like that. And then the check. I'm going to start with the original equation. Negative 20 equals 5 times 3 plus p. I'm going to substitute in my answer for P, which was -7. I'm going to keep working down the page, equals, I have to do the parentheses first, 5 times. The parentheses were 3 plus -7, which is -4. And look at that. 5 times -4 is -20. So both sides of the equal sign are the same. We are good to go. So that is how you solve equations when you have parentheses in them, and you can use the distributive property to solve those equations. And you'll notice we're also always using that idea of equality. Whatever you do to one side of an equal sign, you have to do to another. Choose either method that works best for you to solve these equations today. I hope that helps. That's all for now. Flexing Teacher Weber, out.